Yeah, how's your week been?
Baruch HaShem. Want to talk some Parsha?
Well, exactly why I'm calling. So this week, Parsha Lech Lecha, we meet Avraham Avinu and we begin all the stories of the Avot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Avraham to pick up his stuff, to leave his family, to leave the place he's born and go all the way to Eretz Yisrael. Avraham has Bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu trusts Hashem, gets up and leaves and comes to Eretz Yisrael to fulfill that big promise HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises him. Yet he gets to Eretz Yisrael when there's famine. What's the first thing he does? He gets up and leaves to Mitzrayim. And then when he gets to Mitzrayim, he's afraid of Paro. The Paro might take Sarah, rightfully so. And he plans this whole tactic with Sarah in order to hide her, in order to protect himself. And again, when you look at these stories at the Pshat level, you have to ask yourself, where's the bitachon of Avraham? HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him to come to Israel, but yet he leaves right away. And then he gets to Mitzrayim, he's afraid of Paro, so he builds this entire tactic around in order to save himself. Again, on the Pshat level, where's Avraham's bitachon in all this story?
This seems to be one of the most special things about Avraham Avinu and Avraham Avinu's Emuna. And we see this over and over and over again. Avraham Avinu comes to Eretz Yisrael. He should be expecting Hashem to finally fulfill his promise. He listened, he left everything, and he came to Eretz Yisrael. And then comes the famine. Not only does Avraham Avinu not complain and say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I listened to you. Where's everything you promised? But he doesn't even expect a miracle. He doesn't expect anything. Avraham Avinu expects everything from himself, but doesn't expect anything from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's there. The term we see with Avraham Avinu of Hineni, I'm here. Hashem sends him something. Hashem sends him on a mission, and he's Hineni. He follows wherever it is, whatever it's going to be. We see this later on in Parshat Vayera, when Moshe Rabbeinu is sent to save Am Yisrael, and he comes back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and complains, you sent me to save Am Yisrael, and things just got worse. And Hashem turns to Moshe and says, you're not like Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is exactly that. Avraham Avinu didn't complain, but Avraham Avinu also didn't expect miracles. He didn't expect anything. When you see the Parsha, we look at this strange story of Avraham Avinu telling Sarah to pretend she's his sister, and without getting into the details of the story, what's very clear is that Avraham Avinu is using all these very worldly tactics to somehow save his life. Why didn't he just stand up and Daven and say, do a miracle, protect me? But again, he literally doesn't expect anything from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even after he just left his whole life and followed Hashem, he still expects nothing and is in the mindset of, you wanted me to get up and come to Eretz Yisrael? I did. You brought famine, so I guess you want me to leave. Even though I just got there, whatever. Hineni. We sometimes think Bitachon is standing still, doing what I believe in and expecting it all to work out and trusting that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should follow my way. Avram's Bitachon is following HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if this is the path he takes him on, great. And if suddenly he makes a U-turn and takes him the other way, great. He follows. The Bitachon is the trust, not in his path, the trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's path, the ability to truly follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's saying, Hineni, I'm here, wherever you need me, wherever I need to go, I'm going to be there.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Like you said, Avraham Avinu teaches us the big lesson of Hineni, of I am here, I'm present, and I'm ready to do what you want from me. Like Rashi says later on in Sefer Bereshis with Avraham saying Hineni, Rashi explains, Shon Hanava and Lashon Zimun. Avraham Avinu was both ready to accept upon himself whatever Hashem had in plan for him. He was only looking to do what Hashem wanted, and also he was ready to do it. He prepared himself for it. He lived his entire life for that moment to be ready in order to fulfill what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, and that's how he led his life. Like you were saying, for Avraham Avinu, it was never about waiting for a heavenly intervention from above, but it was always about, this is what Hashem wants, so this is what I'm going to do, and he just stepped up and did it without even asking questions, without thinking too much about it. And sometimes in life, we are all waiting for a heavenly intervention. We face reality is difficult, and we try to figure out what is the right path to take ahead, where should we go, how should we continue moving ahead. It's brought down in Chassidut, and for example in Sfas Emes, that life is hard, life is difficult, and many times you face situations where you can't think straight, and that's exactly where the Sfas Emes says comes into action, that concept of Hineni, of being present, just being there and moving forward, Lashon Zimun, and preparing yourself, and with that preparation, moving forward to do what Hashem wants from you. Just like also you mentioned, make your desire, make your will, make your path in life the path HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, so that your path will lead to that direction which HaKadosh Baruch Hu is planning for you, and it shall be an easier path for you to walk, which will help you go through those situations where, again, sometimes in life, it's hard to see the future, it's hard to see ahead, it's hard to see what one should do, where one should go. Sometimes in life, you have to get up and just push forwards without overthinking, without thinking too much about the situation, because thinking too much will lead you to too many thoughts and inaction. Sometimes what you have to do is be present, and you have to entire life prepare yourself for that. Just like Avraham Avinu, like we learned last week, his entire life was to walk ahead, was to push forward. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, Lech Lecha, as we mentioned, walk ahead, walk towards my face. Lefanai also, in that sense, where Avraham Avinu, his entire life is hineni, is be present and get up and just move on and continue pushing forward.
You know, this week was the Yortzeit of Rav Meir Shapira, the founder of the Daf Yomi. I heard once a vort in his name, which connects very strongly to what we're saying. In our Parsha, it says that Hashem tells Avraham Avinu to go outside and count the stars. And then it says, and Hashem told him, so will be your descendant. And Rav Meir Shapira points out that there's something strange in the Psukim. It repeats twice, Vayomer, Vayomer. He told him to go outside. He told him, so will be your descendants. We know in Tanakh, whenever we see twice, Vayomer, Vayomer, he told him, something happened in between. You don't tell again in the middle of the same sentence. So what happened in between? So says Meir Shapira, you know what happened? Hashem told Avraham Avinu, go outside and count the stars. So what did Avraham Avinu do? He went outside and started counting stars. 1, 2, 3. Could he actually count all the stars? No. Did he think he could count all the stars? No. But that's what Hashem wanted. That's where he was. He immediately went and started counting stars. Then turns Hashem to him and says, so will be your descendants. Not the amount of stars. That too. So will be your descendants with that special koach, with that special ability to just follow. Even when I don't understand how it's going to end up. Even when I don't understand what's going to be. I don't see clearly ahead of me. My ability, as Am Yisrael does later, to jump into the sea even before it splits. Just walk ahead and believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us and He'll help us and follow the way. So that ability, follow HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whether He takes us one day to the left and then the next day you turn to the right and then again to the left, and we don't understand how this path is going to lead where we really want to go, but we follow and we say, Hineni, this is something that we got from Avraham Avinu and is even greater than having Emuna in miracles or standing and believing that something dramatic is going to happen and save the day. That simplicity, that ability to just follow and do what needs to be done.
Exactly, the simplicity, the trust, like you said in the beginning, the trust we should have in what Hashem has planned for us, the trust we should have in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the path He's leading us on is the right path for us and where we have to go, and continue pushing down that path and being present, just like Avraham Avinu.
Go ahead.
Go ahead to you. Good Shabbos. We'll talk next week. For more Talking Torah videos on different topics, check out our YouTube channel.